Hi, everyone.
Hi, and thanks for joining us for episode 2.
Today, we're doing a continuation of our last episode. In our last episode, we were talking about why working moms are unhappy. And today, we're going to talk a little bit more about how to get happier.
Yes, that's a great topic, Jetta. And I think what's really great is to be able to share our own experiences and how they may be relevant to our audience out there as well. So, what gets you happy?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. Okay, I have things that make me happy as a person. So, for example, coffee makes me very happy. Exercise makes me feel good. I don't know if it's happy, it just makes me feel not angry. And spending time with people that I love, doing things that feel satisfying and fulfilling, creating like this podcast makes me happy. Putting on workshops, educating, things that really kind of light me up. There's like a certain kind of happiness that I get from sharing and creating information. And then there's, of course, like the happiness that I get when I spend time with my daughter and when like the three of us, my daughter, my husband, and I are all together, before bed, if we're all like lying in bed together and they're playing and roughhousing and I'm just like trying not to get hit, like that makes me happy. When Altaz and Sasha play, like my husband and my daughter play together, I think that's probably one of my happiest times because I feel fulfilled and I feel no pressure, which is nice. And I can just sort of enjoy the love that's around. Yeah.
I love that. And I can relate 100% too with Ish and Ava. It's so endearing to see how hands-on he is with Ava and how much support he provides to her, whether it's showing up at her track meets. The other day, actually, one of the mom group friends had sent me a video of their volleyball and all of the dads had shown up. All of the dads, and they had a game which was dads versus daughters, and it was so amazing to watch. And even though there was a sad part of me that wasn't there, I was there the previous week, but it made me feel so happy to see all of these dads just show up for their girls and be there, and they ended up having this dads versus daughters volleyball game, and it was so awesome. What's so great about having a partnership in raising Ava as well is the time that I can carve out for myself. And having that ability to carve out time for myself and to have that self-care, whether it's just to decompress after a crazy day at work or a crazy week at work. I'm so appreciative of my husband just like being able to understand my needs, sometimes without me even saying it, and just know when it is time to get Ava out of the house and, play badminton in the cul-de-sac or go and shoot the puck around, so that I can decompress. And those acts of service show me that he's in tune and make me feel valued, and that ultimately leads to harmony in the family, harmony in the home, which creates happiness for me as well.
Totally. And I also find that when Altaz and Sasha are out of the house, I start to miss them a lot, and it makes me appreciate them a lot more when they're back. Like I love like that big hug that I get when we haven't been with each other for a couple of hours and I've had a chance to rejuvenate, because I find that when my battery is low, I cannot be loving. Like I cannot be happy. I don't have my basic needs met, which means I'm just not able to be the person that I really want to be and the mom that I really want to be. So being able to recharge my battery and then having a little bit of extra time after that where I'm like, oh, where are they? Like, why are they taking so long to come home? And then I call Altas and I'm like, where are you guys? And he's like, didn't you want Ty? But then they come home and I'm a totally different person. And I think that's necessary. I mean, I don't think we can be truly happy without having our basic needs met. And one of those needs is just to be able to decompress. Maybe it's like cleaning up and, organizing your things and like getting ready or just watching TV for a little while without having it be like Disney Plus,
I love that so much, Jenna. And it just speaks to that introverted nature that you have and being able to have that time where you can decompress at home. For myself and being an extrovert, it may look a little bit different. It may look like I'm the one going out and Ish is at home with Ava, and I'm socializing with my girlfriends, or I'm going to see a movie, meeting a friend for coffee. As an extrovert, I get energy off of other individuals and in a social setting. And that's what makes me happy. So I think really understanding who you are as a person will help you identify what basic needs you have, and what you need in order to get to your happy place.
That is such a great point. I wasn't even thinking about the extroverts in the world. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
True introvert.
I'm like, everyone needs to be shut in their home for an hour or 2 or 3 a day to find true happiness.
And I think
by themselves.
Go crazy. I think I would really go crazy if my afternoon was like, you need to be at home and not see anyone, not talk to anyone, and this is your form of self-care. I mean, unless I'm at a spa, that is unacceptable in my books.
I love that.
Me too.
And you know your husband well too, because he has opposite needs, right? He's more of an introvert.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Altha seems like an extrovert, but I think he's also an introvert. So we all just like to cozy up at home.
He's an introverted extrovert?
Yeah.
Extroverted
I think they're called ambiverts. He's like in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he does get drained from social outings. Like we'll go home tonight after spending time with Naja and Ish and Ava, and we'll all be like so happy, but so tired.
Yeah.
Just be like, yeah.
And I'll be like, okay, let's.
Where's the next party?
Yeah,
who else are we meeting?
Next? Yeah. It's not too late for a nightcap, right?
Okay, so happiness. One of the things I wanted to talk about with happiness was expectation versus reality when it comes to the working mom's happiness. I think that when I thought about being a working mom, because I never imagined I would be a stay-at-home mom. I always imagined I'd be a working mom because my career was so important to me in my 20s and early 30s. So when I imagined being a working mom, I thought happiness would look like just doing everything, just being able to go to work and be with the kids for a bit and, do all the things. But in reality, that's just exhausting. Like doing all the things is so tiring and it does not bring me that much happiness. Right now, I think in reality, what brings me happiness is having some kind of a cushion. So knowing that I can take a break and someone else will fill in for me, like my husband will take over with Sasha if I'm having a rough day. And it looks more like adventuring than it looks like just keeping all the pieces together, like that's part of it, but that's not all of it. And I don't think I realized going into motherhood that I would be craving for more, that this just being a working mom would not be enough to satisfy that need to explore and to, like have spontaneity and fun and be out in the world and all that stuff. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. And, I can understand where you're coming from. And I feel like a lot of friends in my life would definitely resonate with that. For myself as a working mom and, finding that identity again after becoming a mom was what was really important to me. And recently I started doing some coaching courses and they've taught me a lot about how to really invest in yourself in order to be a better version, whether it's for your kids, your family members, your friends. And it's given me it's ignited this passion and ignited this sense of purpose for me. So right now, whereas most moms may need a break, I feel that taking on something and educating myself is the best way for me to feel fulfilled to move forward. And it changes up my stagnant routine, because sometimes what happens is when you are working, you may reach a peak in your career where you feel like, well, what's next? And sometimes you need to create that next chapter for yourself, gain that power back.
That is so true and so relevant. And I think I completely relate to that as well, because happiness really, and I was listening to, I think it was Arthur Brooks and Oprah. They have this whole segment on happiness. I think they have a book out on happiness. I haven't read it yet, but it looks really good. And they talk about finding fulfillment and satisfaction, right? That happiness as a feeling just kind of comes and goes. But when you have something that you're creating, that you're working towards, that helps you feel like you have some kind of a purpose, that creates a lot of true kind of lasting happiness. And I think that one of the things, maybe the expectation of being a mom is that my kids would be my purpose. But the reality of being a mom is that my kid might be a part of my purpose. She might fulfill one part of me that wants to nurture and explore and stuff like that with her. There's more to me than just that, you know. And at some point, she's going to leave the nest, and I'm still going to be me, right? I'm still going to have a life. I'm still going to need to, use my time somehow. And so I think nurturing those different parts of us that are not just a mom or like just a wife, that can bring a lot of fulfillment if you have the capacity for it.
Yeah, I love that. And it truly brings happiness as well. Jenna and I have both in the past and still do keep vision boards and believe in manifestations. And what has helped us is being able to carve out that time and really make our future. And even having a conversation about doing a podcast or sharing our message or empowering women. It was a conversation that has now come into action. I feel that when you really truly meditate on what you'd like to have happen for you, and you spend the time to do a vision board or to manifest, you really can make your dreams into a reality and ignite those passions within you. It may not end up being what you think it is. You may start doing something and it leads to it leads to a direction you never could have imagined. But the important thing is to give yourself the time to do it. And that would be something that I truly would say to, if you're going to take anything away from what I share with you today, it would be to give yourself that time, have a dream journal, listen to a meditation, start a vision board, do something for you, and see where it takes you.
I love manifestation. Yes. I don't feel like I'm very good at manifestation, but thinking back, I really enjoy the manifestation activities, right? Like making the vision board. It's almost like cementing what it is that you actually want. But here's the thing. I'm hearing this voice in my head because I have so many like clients that are women and married, and the idea of being happy feels so far away because they feel so overwhelmed. Maybe the relationship is not going that well. They feel isolated and alone. And for those women, I'm wondering, like, let's bring it down to the basics, because I've definitely been there myself too, where, postpartum depression and all that stuff, where the idea of being happy and fulfilled feels so far away. You're really just in survival mode, trying to make it through the day. So I'm curious for you, Naja, like, what do you think for women that are just struggling in their day-to-day? What's like the first baby step that they might be able to take towards just feeling a little bit better?
Yeah, that's a great question, Jenna. And when I think about my own struggles, it would be to recognize when you feel that your energy is protected and safe around certain individuals. Jenna earlier mentioned about circles getting smaller as we get older. And I think a large part of that is as you experience different type of relationships, you may realize those that serve you and uplift you and bring up your energy, and those that take away. And one thing that could really help is recognizing who your support circle is. And you'll know that when your nervous system is calm. You will know that because you will feel it. Energy is definitely tangible. And a small step is to be open to share. When you are not feeling judged by a person that you trust and you can share how you're feeling, even just unleashing that can help you gain a bit of clarity and help you towards relieving some of that tension. And I think that would be my advice on a first step.
That's so great. I think so important and can feel really hard to do, to share, because we often think that like we're the only ones going through this. Oh, no one else has struggled this way. But many of us have struggled, especially in motherhood, postpartum depression, postpartum anxiety, and also then just being a mom with all of the expectations and all of the mom guilt and all of the things that are surrounding it. Plus, you have to look perfect and you have to be happy all the time. And when you're not in that space, it can feel like you're the odd man out. Like there's something wrong with me for not being in this space. But I think Naja and I can both attest to the fact that, hey, we all go through it.
Yes.
There is not a mom out there who has not struggled, in my opinion, from what I've seen.
Agreed. And when you put that intention out that you want to be happy and you believe it every day, and you'll see the happiness start within you. Because once your intention is out there, it will manifest and it will happen for you. Doors will start opening up. People will start coming into your life. You'll have opportunities as long as the intention is there, because you're telling the universe that this is what I need, and the universe will always provide.
And you know what Joe Dispenza talks about is, and he's someone who talks a lot about manifestation, but also just really changing yourself through changing how you feel. He talks about practicing the feeling. So he talks about spending a couple of minutes every morning, kind of locating your heart, and then practicing the feeling that you want to feel more of. Because what he says is that our feelings tend to be habitual. Our brain automates our feelings. So when, let's say we've had a rough couple of years because we became a mom and it was tough and we felt like we lost our identity, whatever the case is, and we've been in that space of feeling hopeless or helpless for a couple of years, your brain might automate that and make that feeling the dominant feeling when maybe that's not actually where you need to be right now. So if you can imagine the feeling that you want to have, maybe it's, and just like a couple steps up the emotional ladder, nothing huge, maybe instead of frustrated or helpless, it's calm, right? And if you can practice that feeling for a couple of minutes in the morning and throughout the day, what does it feel like to be calm, and just breathe through it? That can really help your body to remember what that feels like. And then from there, once you're feeling that more often, you can go to a little bit more content, joyful, whatever it is, excited, passionate, and just kind of take it one step at a time.
I love that, Jenna. And I think it ignites a reflection question for me that I would like for our audience to think about is, if you could close your eyes and think about a really happy moment that you've had, and take that feeling and put that energy out every morning.
Yes. Yes. There's a great meditation. It's actually called Tony Robbins priming. So if you look up on YouTube, Tony Robbins priming, I think it's like 12, 15 minutes long. And he does exactly that. He asks you to think about memories in your life that have been exciting, where you felt whole and where you felt really good. And he gets you to kind of get into that space. I found that meditation to be very helpful. So what a great suggestion.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know about this meditation. I'm going to have to check it out right after this. Yeah. Send me the link, okay?
I will. I was also going to mention that for me, one of the baby steps that I found really helpful in the beginning part of my journey to feeling a little bit better, and it has been a long journey, but one of the things that has consistently been helpful for me is coming up with a mantra that helps me to feel relaxed. So for example, it's safe to be happy, or it's safe to feel calm. Something like that, where I can say that to myself over and over, and I pair it with some deep breaths. So I will take deep breaths throughout the day, when I'm at a stoplight, or just anytime I remember. If I look at the clock, it'll be like a trigger to be like, oh, take a deep breath. And I'll take a few deep breaths and I'll just remind myself it's safe to be happy, it's safe to feel calm, it's safe to have fun. And that's one of the things that really helped me stay present when I was going through a lot, and I think helped me move through it a lot more quickly.
That's amazing. Thanks for sharing that, Jenna. I think that's enough talking for this evening. It's wine time. That makes me happy. Actually, it's wine time. I'm happy right now because it's wine time.
And I'm happy because she's happy. and because we're going to get some wine. So we will see you next time.